Hello, Internet. Welcome to Comic Book Talks, where I give my impressions of the top three books I read for the week. However, this week I only have two books: Cyclops number 2 and Punisher number 6. I would talk about Ultimate Spider-Man number 2, but since it's not in the 616 universe, I don't want to bother talking about an alternate multiverse stuff going down. So yeah. So yeah, Cyclops number 2. So, a bit of a recap, since I didn't do issue 1 when it came out, but essentially what happens is Cyclops goes off into space with his dad, Corsair, having some adventures with the Starjammers, and in the first issue you learn that, so apparently Corsair has like some disease. I don't think anybody else knows about it. And then they also developed this like face mask thing for Cyclops, so when he's in space he can still use his optic blasts, and then also he can use it to like propel himself through space. And he's like trying to like learn that a bit with Hepzibah at the beginning of the first issue. And then they run into like a Badoon ship, take it down, and then they don't really commandeer it, but you have this whole like thing with Corsair where he's like, well, I have Scott with me, but I don't know how to be his dad. So I'm gonna, take him on this adventure with me, just the two of us in the ship that we just got out of this ambush. And then Scott's all like, "Well, I'm here with my dad." It's cool because like he's all like, "I've seen what I become in the future, and like what I wanted to be is not how I turned out to be." And then it's cool because he's like, "Well, now that I'm with my dad, I kind of want to be like him and stuff." And he's like looking up to him and stuff. It's pretty cool. And yeah, he's just like, he like has all these like lines where it's like, I wanted to be a astronaut, a pirate, a hero. I don't want to be the jerk Cyclops that I become in the future. So he's going to like try to be like his. But then in this issue, like it's kind of offset to where, he's like with his dad, and then like they get ambushed towards the end, and then he like finds out that he's like a wanted criminal in like a wide part of the galaxy. So I guess like he probably didn't know like to what extent his dad was a space pirate. But yeah, this issue picks up because at the end of the last issue, they set a course to like all these different systems, and they're gonna like just have this like grand tour of the galaxy, and like his dad's gonna go on along with them. And so yeah, they're starting off there, and like you can see all the different places that they're going to, or that they've been, and then finally they stop off on this planet, and you see that Corsair's taking some of the medicine that he needs that Cyclops doesn't know that he's taking for the disease that we don't know he has. And so they land on the planet and they meet with this black market dealer dude. And then Corsair's like, "Okay, well, I need this refill on this medication. Can you do this for me?" And then while that's going down, the dealer dude introduces Cyclops to some alien lady. It might be his daughter. I don't know. His daughter. They don't look like the same, so I'm not sure. Because he has tentacle arms, but she has normal arms. She doesn't look human, but whatever. Alien looking, not same features. This is what I'm trying to get to. And so, and then she takes him to this, like he says something about, show him the, what was it called? What was it called? Oh, dude, he said something. And then, yeah, the Synex. So, the next scene, when you see Cyclops, they're sitting in a diner, and like, he's, drinking this chocolate milkshake, and he's like, "Wow, this tastes exactly like chocolate." And then I was wondering like why he was reacting that way, because it was like, okay, well, at first I thought he was gonna be eating some sort of like weird alien food, because he's like, this I said chocolate, I'm not sure, but then like you see what he's seeing, and it's actually a chocolate milkshake. But then as they're sitting there, they get attacked by the waitress, who basically transmorphs into a scroll, and it's like, oh, it's a scroll, and then they're getting attacked, and then he like just optic blasts them, and stuff goes down. But then you find out that they're in like some simulator room, holodeck type thing, because the door opens. Well, there's like a scroll laying there, but it's all like weird, not like no blood and guts. It's just like a holographic interface stuff going down, and you see a door open, and Corsair and the black market dude, and they're like, "Oh, how'd you like the simulator thing?" He's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." But then so yeah, that happens, and then they're walking back to the. Or after that happens, the next scene is basically them walking back to the ship, and then Cyclops is all, "So, who's that guy? How'd you meet him?" And his dad's all like, "Oh, he's a black market dude from back in the day. He wanted something, you went to him, blah blah blah." And then Cyclops is like, "Wait, he's a criminal?" And he's like, "Well, so am I, depending on who you ask, right?" And then, as they're walking back, he's like, "Okay, I'm trying to think, was it this issue? Well, last issue, he's like, "Okay, here's a lesson. You never, do what the person that you're in combat with expects you to do," which is like, they do that right before they blast into the Badoon ship, because they don't go through the front door, they just like blast in from the side. And so this time he's like, "Okay, here's another lesson. Things aren't always as they seem. Like this, for example. This could just be, a simple misunderstanding, or it could be a robbery. Who knows? Because they're getting like ambushed. Well, they're not really getting ambushed, but like he has like he I guess he like noticed that they were being followed, and he walked into like this open area, and then out of the shadows come like all these like bounty hunters with the shock sticks, which once you find out they are the weapons they're using. And then the dude that confronts them, he's like, "Okay, Corsair the Starjammers, you're wanted by no less than 3 galactic governments and 79 private individuals. The bounty for you is substantially higher if we bring you in alive." He's like, "Oh, so who's got the highest bounty on me?" And like, saying all this stuff like while they're fighting. And then Cyclops is like, "Dude, Dad, this is not the time to be all prideful about this when we're getting attacked." And so they're fending off the bounty hunters. And I guess another thing I forgot to mention was that when they went to the Badoon ship the last issue and they commandeered it, Cyclops found this sword, and then his dad was like, "Yeah, you should carry that around. You're gonna maybe want to get used to carrying it, because all of the armor and stuff that people use in space is blaster proof. So if you have a sword, you can cut through the armor and then do stuff to them." And so he's like carrying around the sword now, on Cyclops, and then he actually tries to use it this time, but it doesn't work because he gets disarmed like immediately. And then his dad gets like incapacitated sometime into the fight, and so it's just him and like 3 or 4 bounty hunters left. And he's like, he picks up his sword because like the bounty hunter dude's like, "Okay, just surrender or tell us where the rest of the Starjammers are, and we'll let you go easily, or let you off easily." And he's like, "Yeah, that's not gonna happen," and just like does an optic blast on like a column pillar thingy, and it just like deflects and hits all of them. And it's like, "Oh yeah, go Cyclops." And so that happens, and then the next scene is basically them getting back to the ship, and Corsair's looking like he's pretty out of it and pretty tired and out of breath and winded, what have you. And he was carrying this like a satchel thing with him, and then they get to the ship, and he opens it, and it has the case with all his refill for his medicine. But at this time, they're blasting away from the planet so they can get away from the bounty hunters. And he opens it up because he tells like Cyclops to like prep the ship, blah, blah, blah. Prep the ship and get it ready to blast off and get us out of here. And so while Cyclops is doing that, he opens up his medication, but then you see it's all destroyed, and it's like, "Oh no!" So, dun dun dun. What's going to happen to Corsair? Is his medicine run out? Will he get more? Will his symptoms get worse? Will we finally find out what's ailing him as far as his condition? Who knows? But yeah, that was Cyclops number 2, and I did very much enjoy it, because the last issue was basically just them in space, and they take down a Badoon ship. But then it's cool what they did in this issue was like when it opens up, it has like this cool, like I mentioned at the beginning, like a cool like little montage of all the different places that they've gone to so far. So it's like just him and his dad like having these adventures, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, that was pretty much it for Cyclops number 2. I did enjoy it, and I will be coming back after this with my thoughts on Punisher number 6 after I read that. Alright, just finished reading Punisher number 6, and I gotta say, definitely my pick of the week out of the 2 books I read this week. Well, I haven't read Ultimate Spider-Man yet, but I'll read it last night. It won't be included in this video. But yeah, this was basically a conclusion to the storyline that's built up to the last 5 issues of, you have the De Solos, and they're gonna, they're working with AIM and Electro, and they're blacking out the city, planning radioactive dirty bombs, taking out LA, and then De Solos' plan was essentially to just, like, come in and then take LA, and then just hold it as a stronghold, essentially, as, like, with all his, like, crime syndicate forces, and then just, like, hold it, and then, intimidate everybody else that way to, like, keep him out. But then here we have, and then, like, the Punisher was, like, trying to stop him, and then Electro was, like, taking him down, and then, he was able to, like, get away once from the Del Solos HQ, but then he tracked him down again. Or not, he didn't track him down again, like, when the blackout happened, Punisher was, like, moving in to, like, stop all the bombs and stuff, and then him and Electro met up yet again to have it out again. And so here you see the conclusion, and I was really anticipating this to, like, how he was going to take Electro down, because I was pretty skeptical, because it's, like, on paper, I mean, you have Electro versus Punisher. I mean, obviously I'd say Electro every time. So I was like, okay, how's he even gonna, like, put up any type of fight against him? But here you, like, have this cool thing where, like, the Punisher, he incapacitates him, and he's about to kill him, and like, it's cool because, like, I was like, so, like, okay, how's he gonna do it? And then, like, when you see it, you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. But then a couple issues ago, it was either De Solos or AIM, one of them. They contracted Domino, I guess, to help him as well. So before Punisher can finish him off, it's like, oh, curses. Domino just, like, comes out of nowhere and just, like, kicks him in the head. And it's like, ah. So, like, she rescues Electro, they get away. So they're both still out there somewhere. So the Del Solos get taken down, but Electro and Domino, will see if they show back up later down the line. So that like, whole Del Solos dirty bomb plot storyline is done here, but there's still Electro out there, there's still Domino out there. I'm not sure if they're going to come back to that. It kind of wouldn't really make sense, since it's not, if they were being, like, contracted to, like, do stuff for the plot here that's, like, being resolved, but we'll see. So yeah, what happens is, like, the Del Solos leader, he's armed all the bombs, he's got the detonator, he's about to, kill everybody. But the Punisher gets up after getting kicked in the head. He gets on a motorcycle. He like, one-shots the driver, and the car crashes. Because it's raining, like, it's raining during the blackout. So, like, this whole issue is just, like, the art is incredible, because it just looks so good. Like, the rain and, like, everything, the lighting is just perfect. Looks amazing. And then so, he's tracking down the driver, or not, I'm sorry, not the driver, but the vehicle. He takes out the driver. The car crashes before Del Solos can, like, hit the detonator. He's about to get it. He has it in his hands, like, the panel, right before he hits it, he's like, okay, that's it. It's time to det. And then, like, before he finishes his sentence, it's like, smash. And, like, the car just flips over, because Frank just, like, one-shots the driver. And, like, yeah, aeroplanes? Is that the word? So, yeah, or hydroplanes, yeah, it, like, flips over on the white road it's driving down. And then it just gets better. Like, this is just, like, it's cool because they wrap up this whole, like, the first 5 issue story arc that's been building. Well, like, I guess not, like, all, like, I mean, that main storyline of the Del Solos thing. Because there's other stuff that's, like, been building in the background that's, like, coming to the forefront now. That I'm about to talk about. So that happens, and so Del Solos is, like, crawling out of the vehicle, and, like, his detonator's out of reach, but the Punisher shoots it before he can get into it. And then he's, like, giving him this, like, whole spiel about blah, 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 I punished the blah, 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 the bad guys. But before he can, like, finish it, like, because his last words are, like, I'm the pun, and then, like, before he finishes it, and it's like, boom, and there's an explosion. And then, like, right in front of Frank, and he's, like, completely unprepared, so he, like, falls back. And then he looks up, and he's like, what in the... And he sees a drone. And so, he's like this really cool monologue of like what he like who he is and like why he's fighting the fight he fights, and like, you know, where he basically is where he sees himself in like the whole heroes and villains in the Marvel universe, and like, you know, what his fight is and like why he does it. And you have this cool sequence of events after this that it goes to after that, where he goes back to his lair, for lack of a better word, or his like little LA HQ. Before I talk about that though, like another subplot that's about to like start up here is like that's been building is the Howling Commandos that have essentially been tracking him since issue 1, I think, or issue 2. But it's cool because that basically goes to the forefront now, since the Del Solos is taken care of. This new plot or this subplot comes in, and so they've tracked him to his lair because they like, you know, if you in all the other issues they've been like doing all this stuff in the background to like track him down slowly but surely. They found his contact, you know, they found his coyote pet dog thing that you don't see this issue, and so that happens as he's having this like really cool monologue about, you know, it's when you're, you know, like, or like when I'm trying to fight this fight and like my brothers in arms that I fought with me and they're all gone now, like what do I fight for, what do I fight? And then like as he's like doing that, he walks into his lair and like he like trip mine, it blows up, and so like he's just like really deep in thought here. And then all of a sudden, boom, and then Howling Commandos like come in, and like the art, like I said, is like stellar, and like all these cool like effects, like when they're aiming down the sights and stuff. And so that happens, and he's like Punisher's trying to get away from his like secret exit from his lair and stuff. And then yeah, before he gets into his car, he like, it blows up again, and he's like, okay, this isn't even funny. I'm getting sick of being blown up. And then he's like, you know, he knows he's outnumbered, outgunned, outmatched, just like in issue 1 when he was fighting the Electro, and like, you know, he's like, I can't, or did he say he couldn't win? I don't know. I think there's like a similar thing that happened in issue 1 where it's like he's basically about to get fried on the freeway, and, you know, instead of like taking because he knows he can't win, he like has that tactical retreat, and like he blows up his car so he can get away in the confusion. He has like the same encounter where he's like, okay, dude, I'm like, I just came from fighting the Del Solos, and there's the explosion from the drone, and he's like, I got, you know, what's he say? Cracked ribs, torn muscle, 2 broken fingers, a busted eardrum, ammo depleted. I'm not gonna win this. And so he's in a parking garage. That's where like he exits to from his like secret HQ or whatever. And so before he can like escape or whatever, he gets in like to a bit of a firefight with one of the Howling Commandos. But before he can get away, he basically gets like shot like one round in the shoulder, takes one round and like falls back over the railing of the parking garage. But he's like holding himself up, and he's like, man, I can't win. And then he's looking down, and he drops onto an oncoming bus. And there's this really cool scene where he like looks through the red dot sight on his gun and just like pops one of the commandos in the chest. But they're wearing a Kevlar, so it doesn't like kill him. But it was really cool. Like, it's like, yeah, it's just like another, like, I talked about it earlier, but like the art in this, like, this issue is just really great. Just boom, just so good. So that happens, and they're like, he got away. But then the commander that shot him was like, oh, it's cool, dudes, because I got a tracer round in him, because it was a tracer round and not an actual round. And so they're just tracking him through the city, like through this cool holographic map thing that they have on their little kits or whatever. That's pretty cool. And then you have Frank on like laying down on the bus after he gets shot with or after he falls down to it after taking the tracer round, and you know, he's all like having this like cool monologue about, you know, why do I fight? Okay, I'll just read it because I thought it was really good. He's like, why do I do it? Why not give up, give in, and accept defeat? Because I don't fight for victory. Not in war, not in peace, not on the battlefield, not here. I fight, we fight, that is, those who punish evil, because the evil and scum of the streets, the aggressive and violent criminals, their victory is not when they kill the innocent or destroy a city, it is when good men stop resisting them. And so, like, right after he finishes that, so the commandos track him with the tracer round, and the Howling Commando that put him down, or not put him down, but like that like popped him with the tracer round that got shot back but didn't die, was like, okay, well, Howling Commandos don't, or we don't get slow, we get the job done. We take out the bad guys and they're like pop and they like shoot around that like goes to a tracer round, or like the tracer round that was in his shoulder and like shoots him in the shoulder, and so he's down and he's like laying down on the bus and like you don't know, like, well, obviously he's most likely not dead, but then like after they say that, or like I mean after the commando shoots him with the tracer or the round that was following the tracer, they're like, we take out the bad guys. So it's like, it's cool because you have like the Punisher who's like seeing his point of view, he's taking out the bad guys, but then you have the Howling Commandos who are like, we're taking out the Punisher who we see as the bad guys, and so it's just like a cool collision of like philosophies on that as far as like who sees the villain, or who someone sees as a villain, even though they're from their perspective they see the other side as the bad guy, even though they don't see themselves as doing bad, or they see themselves as doing good. Whatever. Anyway, really good issue, and like the way they wrapped up like the Del Sol story arc, and then like just a really action-packed issue of like, it was that, and then you had the subplot come in and be like, oh, it's not over. There's still stuff going down. So that was a really good issue, and definitely my pick of the 2 books I've read this week. I'll be reading Ultimate Spider-Man for this, but I will not be recording it. So if you want to know what's happening in the Miles Morales, just put a comment and I'll be like, oh, okay, and I'll talk about it, because it's only been like 2 issues and in the new volume, and yeah, pretty easy to do a synopsis if someone wants it. So yeah, but yeah, I'm doing this one a bit, or I guess not earlier. It's probably later because it's not Wednesday. So I'm kind of late reading these. Whatever. I'm just trying to get it up before next week when I would have had it done later, because E3 is next week. So would have been doing all of that. But yeah, that's it for this video. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends, or not. That's cool too. And until you see or hear from me again, thanks for watching. I'm now signing off.